Hello, welcome to this episode of Industry Voice. I have the other amazing Jeff on this episode, Jeff Arnold. How are you?
Jeff and Jeff Show, man, I covet that name. I'm well, my friend. I am excited about our journey together today.
So, audience, if you are watching this on YouTube, then you see the backdrop. Those are 2 of 7 books you wrote. So, how many books did you write so far?
Thank you for that question. I've written 10.
Oh, wait,
Um,
10.
that's all. It's all good. I'm very fortunate that 5 made it to #1 on Amazon, right? And so it's one thing to say bestseller, and I ran that for a while, but then when they reach #1, that's a different kind of feeling. That feels good, especially if you're a product of the Kentucky public school system, which doesn't have the best reputation, right? So to say we've written 10 and 5 #1s, that feels good. Not bragging, just sharing that it felt really good.
No, we need to talk about it, right? Because success is not given, success is earned. So,
Yeah.
you know, 10 books, that's amazing. So kudos to you. And thank you for the books. I personally have not dived into it yet.
Mhm.
I did give you a little spots on the table back there. So looking forward to dive into it. And I guess now I have you on the show. And just kind of want to have our audience hear about your journey. Your personal journey is very unique. You give me a little bit insights pre-recording. So I'm going to have you come on here and just tell your story.
Yeah, appreciate it. First of all, Jeff, I've been following you on LinkedIn for a while. So, I am so glad that our paths crossed at ITC, right? I love what you stand for. I love your message. And so it was good for us to connect. Uh, that being said, from one Jeff to another, I probably similar roads, right? 4 generations of preachers in my family. I'm the first one not to preach. So I broke the mold because my dad, his dad, his dad, and his dad, all the way to great-grandfather, they are all past, but even when they were here, they had no idea what I was doing selling legal contracts, or as the rest of the world calls it, insurance, right? They shook their head in befuddled amazement at what I was doing. It was just kind of a calling.
Selling insurance to owning insurance agencies. Can you give us like your background and then how did you end up going to, I mean, I'm trying to do this interview on your LinkedIn, right? And then your LinkedIn on your experiences and achievements and all the things you've done. There's a lot to cover here. So, we're very chill on this podcast. So
All
go
good.
just go through them and talk about what led to each event. I mean, you were founding managing partner on Lenders Portal,
Yeah.
beinsure.com, Lender Bridge. There's like a lot of different areas and different angles we can go on here.
Yeah, like anybody with ADD or ADHD or uh, chasing success, like every driven man or woman listening to your podcast, right? You're driven. And so, yeah, I have been fortunate to have a few exits from tech firms and insurtechs and insurance firms. But I've also had many failures, right? It all started when I was in North Hollywood, not the glamorous part you're thinking of, North Hollywood, the very tough, difficult part. And I was doing a lot of stage work, some stand-up comedy, some minor TV stuff. This is the 80s. I'm an aged man. And I had this hole in my, with my agent. I had 4 months where I had nothing, no gigs booked, no shows, no plays. And so I left Hollywood to Tucson, Arizona to visit my mom, mostly because I needed a place to sleep for free, if we're being real, right? That's what I do. And again, I had this 4-month hole that I had nothing lined up, no tryouts, no stage work, nothing. So I answered an ad that said insurance salesman wanted, as cliche as it sounds. But from the very first week, I was struck by it is a mind game. If you've been in our industry for 3 years, first of all, you're stuck. You cannot leave. I think it's a law, a decree. And there's something about the journey, the intellectual stimulation that understanding legal contracts, insurance, however you want to call it, does for people that have been there. And it did that for me. So I worked at this agency for about a month. And like most entrepreneurs said, yeah, I can do this. So didn't know any better. Started on my own and called out of the white pages and had one company appointment. That's all you did. And, fast forward to today, it's been, I've been president of an insurance company, been president of an MGA, have bought and sold 40 insurance agencies, which I talk about in that book behind you, The Art of the Insurance Deal. But please know this, it's not a brag session. It's about telling you what I've done wrong, right? There are some moments of success, but there are plenty of chapters on what not to do. Because if there's a way to do it wrong, I stumbled my way through it. In between, then there I started Lender Bridge, Lender's Portal, had sold an insurance firm to a bank and toyed around there for a while, and came back to my love, which is insurance. So bought all the assets of my current agency, RightSure, from a financial firm, changed the name, rebranded it. And so the last, trying to think, what is that, 17 or 18 years, been hanging my shingle at RightSure and loving it. We are in 42 states. We are, not me saying it, this is every insurance industry publication, calls us North America's most awarded insurance firm. We are known for our famously friendly humans, but in the real world, all that means is we help people with all things insurance. So there's a compressed journey, man, of
That's great.
all the things.
What was Lender's Portal? I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I love that. And Lender Bridge, I had a pretty good exit from. So my partner and I thought, now that we've exited, let's do Lender's Portal.
What you got lending on?
So it was really a portal for mortgage banks and mortgage brokers to access credit reports, appraisals, home insurance. It was a place for mortgage brokers, mortgage bankers and brokers to go to, like a one-stop shop. Now this was in 2005 or 6, I think I sold Lender Bridge. So in 2007, we made a repeat for Lender's Portal. But if you're a fan of the calendar or was alive in 2008 or 2009, you know what happened to the real estate market, right? And so we had much better technology, much better message, much better platform on Lender's Portal, but no home run, just because of where the industry was at that time. And of course, the only thing that came out of that was the hazard insurance offerings that we still did for about 40 different credit unions and banks. But all the loans kind of dried up from 2008 to 2011. And
then Chairman FC Tucson?
Yeah, so I'm a soccer nut. It's my passion. I played till I was 52 years old, and I would still be playing, but my wife was saying, you can't sit around and heal all weekend. You got to play with the old men. She said, I'm like, honey, they walk. I might be 50 plus, but I don't want to walk on the pitch. I want to run. Anyway, I left my cleats on the side of the pitch at 52 years old. And then so I bought our semi-pro soccer team. And then I owned a women's pro soccer team, which we've exited from. That's not listed on my LinkedIn. That was an experience. Here's what I learned in sports. So at the end of it, I owned a women's pro team, a women's semi-pro team, and a men's Division II team, and then was a majority shareholder in a big youth club. But the only ROE in sports is return on ego. Right? And so it is a constant struggle for raising capital, diluting existing shareholders, and asking them to just wait, the big day is coming. And quite candidly, still a deep passion of mine. It needs 60 to 70 hours a week and a constant influx of new, not small dollar amounts, new 7-figure investors. And so last January 23, I'm sorry, this January 24, I exited from all of our soccer holdings. Not in a good way.
At the end of the day, entrepreneurs, there's high, there's low, there's tide, there's waves, right? So all the things that we go through, experiences, just stories down the road become lessons, and then down the road become a stepping stone to build the next thing. So kudos to you for trying new things that's really just outside of your arena, but inside of your passion.
Yeah. It's getting out of the comfort zone is what I try to teach all of our folks in our RightSure piece, and then on boards that I'm in, that I'm lucky to be involved in, and school, fortunate to be able to speak to a lot of colleges, right? Graduate students and junior colleges and Ivy League colleges alike. And I challenge them with the same thing. Never carry failure forward. Like, you're going to know failure. If you know success, you're absolutely going to be meeting failures hand in hand. The problem is when some people fail, they just beat themselves up. And I just try to encourage them. Hey, never carry failure forward. If you're going to be a success, you're gonna make a few swing and misses, a few strikeouts.
What was it like to write your own book about your own journey? Because I thought about it a couple of times. I haven't done it yet. I actually went through the step of even hiring someone to help me write it, but just didn't pull the triggers. But somehow I ended up building a podcast before I pulled the trigger on writing my own book.
Well, you have a great way with words, Jeff. You should do it. As far as what it was like, it's this dichotomy, right? At one point, it is such a wonderful flood of emotions, and you can pat yourself on the shoulder or hit yourself on the arm when you did a really good job. You come back an hour later or the next day, and you hate the sentence that you loved the day before, and it becomes this fitful, uncathartic, difficult, brain-wrecking nightmare to try to make it all make sense. And so every single one of my books has been this peaks and valleys, right? Phases and stages. And so I'll leave with a high, I gotta put that quote in, or gotta get that, but then it doesn't correlate with the rest of the chapter or the sentence, and I can't work it in. And every single one of my books, I've had to extract, remove, take out one of my favorite sentences or quotes, because it just didn't make sense anymore. So it's good and it's bad. I love it. I'm working on 2 more right now. So it's a passion. The thing for me in my journey is I was a horrible student, Jeff. I mean, by horrible, I mean, in these days we medicate kids and we give them Adderall or Ritalin or something else to help them focus. In my day, in the 70s, 60s and 70s, it was you go stand in the corner and they spank you and they spank you and they spank you again. And I was just such a bad student that the principal says, I can't spank you anymore. No one wants you in their class. So for 2 weeks, I just sat in the principal's office every day while they tried to figure out what to do with me. And so, again, they were patient. I got more leeway than I probably deserved. The story behind that is I was such a horrible student to finally get to a point in my life where I could sit down and focus and write. It was wonderful. And it was completely by accident, because I told you about what a horrible student I was. The saving grace for me was my career counselor, as we met with everyone else for about a half an hour in high school, he met with me for about 3 minutes. Jeff, you need to join the military. It was his guidance for me, right? So I was in the Army 2 days after graduating high school. That was the thing. The exercise and the discipline helped me, but what really turned the corner was I had 4 children, and one of them was struggling in school, and they wanted to put him on medicine, and I wasn't really for it. My wife and I kind of talked about it, so I tried her medicine, and it was Adderall and guanfacine. And so I tried it, and I'm telling you, I didn't have to try it for 3 or 4 days or sometime. Within 2 hours of that very first intake of what she was going to take, because I wanted to see what she was going to go through, I didn't have to interrupt people anymore. I could finish a thought. And that's when I was able to focus and say, you know, all of us, everyone listening, you've got a to-do list that's miles long. It's in your brain or it's written down somewhere. It's on an Excel sheet. There's 1,000 things that you want to get done, save for the time to actually do it. That medicine allowed me just to shut everything out and focus. And so coming back full circle to the books were a great healing process for me because I never really, I'd had some exits and stuff, but I had these good partners and I got to stand on the shoulders of a lot of great people. I never felt like I really took anything to completion. So to finish the first book and then the other ones, and then to see them go to #1 on Amazon, I mean, that's quite the accomplishment. So it was a validation, but also it was brought about because medicated myself, for lack of a better word.
I have a short experience with Adderall where I struggled to pass my Series 6 and Series 63, the financial security license, and got a hold of some Adderalls. And first three I failed on Series 6. Couldn't score 72. The third test I scored 70 or 71, where I failed by one question. And then after 2 days on Adderall studying, I scored a 93, I think. So I have a little bit background using it, and at the same time, I also know how addictive it is, and I had to wean myself off of it. So
Yeah.
because it was addictive, and because you can really focus on a different level, but at the same time, like 3 a.m. and I couldn't go to sleep. Thank you for watching this video. Now a quick message from our sponsor, Mav.
Thanks, Jeff. I want to let you all in on a secret that top producing agencies don't want you to know about. If you're in P&C insurance, you know firsthand how much you're getting squeezed by your call center. It's becoming less predictable and less economically profitable to scale. But here's the thing. The top producing agencies making over $100 million are not running their leads through a human-based call center. They're running them through an AI expert like Mav to qualify, quote, and hand deliver the highest intent qualified leads to your agents. Mav takes care of the back and forth, having unlimited 24/7 conversations with your leads that are personal and relevant so you can scale to the moon. Ready to ditch your call center and 10x your agency? We're giving the listeners of insurtech's $15,000 worth of credit to try Mav. Head to hiremav.com/insurtechs to claim this offer.
It's true. It has been a journey, and anyone that's on the same journey, you've got to get that just right. And I had to deal with that with another one of my children to get them on it. It is there's no one size fits all. I align with what you're saying, Jeff. That when I first started it, when I finally went and got prescribed it, and it was 18, 20-hour days, I couldn't sleep, right? And so it wasn't overnight. It was a period of months, right? We finally dialed it in. But I didn't want to take something to wake up and then another pill to sleep. I just didn't want to be that. So we've got it where I just take now I take a 10 milligram in the morning, and it wears off by like 1 or 2, and I get my stuff done.
Yeah, very interesting that this episode led to Adderall, but maybe some of the listeners out there can relate. If you can relate to us, give us a like, follow, engage.
I love it. Love it.
So, Jeff, entrepreneurs, they don't sit still. They get bored. Books, you got agencies, you sold your soccer team. Now you getting back some bandwidth. What's next?
I'm writing 2 more books, but Jeff, my passion is giving back. And I'm fortunate that we're able to invest in quite a few insurtechs or see some insurtechs. I'm on the board of a private equity firm and a venture capital firm. It's very focused. We just do small percentage offerings of what the bigger houses do. So it's this really niche boutique private equity firm and venture capital firm. So I'm spending a little time there, but what I'm enjoying most.
I'm assuming you got through C rounds?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
That's the focus.
Yeah. Good point. Good clarification. We'll do Series A for some if it makes sense. I don't. It's all a board decision, so no individual person does it. As a matter of fact, the largest shareholder gets the final say. But what I'm enjoying that is I'm able to be involved in a whole bunch of startups, right? And not for economic gain, for guidance. Because what, when you get to our point in life, you want to give back. But sometimes I tried to give back and force a message on someone whose heart wasn't ready, right? So they say when the heart is ready, the teacher will come.
Wow.
And so
That was a quote.
yeah, this is when the heart is ready, the teacher will come. Not mine, not an original. I just got it from someone, right? But in the same for me growing up, there were several mentors that tried to pour into my life. I wasn't ready. I didn't know what I didn't know, and I thought I knew everything. But when I got to sit at the feet of Michael Gerber, and I sat at Michael Gerber's feet for 3 years, he wrote the book, The E-Myth, and Why Most Small Businesses Don't Work and What to Do About It. He's written several books, but that was his biggest one. And then I sat at the foot of an insurance genius by the name of Tim Hampton. A lot of people haven't heard of him. Very small agency, like 2 or 3 employees. Not, I've had 100-person agencies and 1,000-person companies. Not bragging, I'm just saying, just vastly different. I learned more at the feet of Tim Hampton and Michael Gerber than anybody else because the heart was ready, right, for a teacher. And so pivot now to I'm trying to give back, but I've tried to give back to those who weren't ready to listen and knew it all. But at least I'm maturing. I'm like, all right, so those that are ready, so that's what I'm spending time with now is a lot of AI startups, a lot of insurtech startups. I'm on the board of 5 or 6. And again, it's really just to say, hey, look, I've done this. This is not the way I think it to go. But I'm also learning as much as I'm teaching because it's a whole new day in our world.
Mm-hmm. Now that you said it, I actually went to go Google Michael Gerber because I read his book.
Yeah.
And if you know him, make a connection. I'd love to have him on this podcast.
I can reach out, absolutely. I still talk with folks in his company. He's done a few iterations, but I will absolutely try to ping him. He's going to call me Jeffrey. He always says Jeffrey. So yeah.
That's awesome.
You talk about somebody that hit you right between the eyes too, right? And so there's a generational shift with how leaders have to interact with people. And I mean, no disrespect to any of the generations, but you have the greatest generation, the baby boomers to Gen X, to millennials to Gen Z, to the incoming Gen Alpha. Well, admittedly, you have to connect with each of those in a different way, right?
Yeah.
Gerber was, kind of one size fits all. He just hit you in the throat and tell you what he thought and correct you right there. And that's powerful. You can't do that with everyone, right? Some get offended, some just shut down. But his way was so direct and so powerful and so quick with good knowledge that, just a wonderful person.
I am cheating right now while
That's
we're
fine.
having this conversation about Michael Gerber. I am on Michael Gerber's LinkedIn, and then I read the book, but didn't know the person really well. And now I'm like going through his LinkedIn profile. So let's go back to Jeffrey for a second. Jeffrey.
Let's go to Jeffrey Shi. Hey, by the way, I know it's your show, but is it Jeffery or Jeffrey for you?
Oh, it's R-E-Y and
Jeffrey.
E-R-Y. So, I was struggling, having a hard time finding you, and then I realized the E-R-Y, and then I was like, okay, there it is.
It's the hillbilly way. We were Kentucky hillbillies, and it's my mom literally would said, well, you don't have 2 names. It's not Jeffrey, it's Jeffery. So, that makes sense.
We talk about modern day Kentucky, but post days, so that was Virginia, right?
Fair enough.
Coming from a person native Virginia. So yeah.
I love it.
2 books coming. Anything else coming for next year?
A grandbaby, right? My oldest lives in Poland, in Warsaw, Poland, has his PhD, and I don't know if you have grandchildren, but I'm super excited to be a grandfather. I'll be one in March. So I'll spend all the holidays, Christmas and January in Poland, and then I'll head back over to watch my grandbaby. I'm excited.
What's your favorite food there?
Pierogies.
Oh, pierogies.
Yeah.
Pierogies and sausages, right? So
yeah.
My wife, she used to compete in karate dojo, and there's a lot of events that she went to Poland to compete in.
Oh, nice.
and yeah, rocking the American flag and competing in those events. She told me about Warsaw, how a lot of new infrastructure because of the war.
Yeah.
So because of the war, they have they had a clean slate to build infrastructures.
Yep.
So it's very clean, very nice area, and very much like the standard these days for middle class in Europe seem like.
Oh yeah, very clean. Of course, there's graffiti like in some cities everywhere, but the streets are very clean. People are very polite. It is America 1960 from a values based.
Yep.
I'm not saying lean conservative or liberal. That's not my thing. I'm not trying to get into politics. It is a very conservative from a value standpoint, like America
Yep.
1960. And so wonderful place, right? You don't have to lock your doors. It's super low crime and just beautiful, beautiful architecture. I love it.
Yeah. I'd love to visit one day. Maybe like the next time you go over there, I'll say, "Hey, Jeff, what you
Yeah.
doing?"
I will be
tag
there
along?
most of December, my friend.
You can't find warmer time, huh?
Yeah, right. That's true.
Okay. So any events you're going to next? What's your thought on the ITC Vegas this year?
I always enjoy it. You always meet somebody. Like I got to meet you in person, quite honestly, right? And I've followed you and your messages and your scriptures and just your posts for a while. And then just to see you standing in the foyer there, I'm like, I know this guy. I think I interrupted you talking to someone. For that, I apologize. But that's what I take out of it. You know, I don't go there to learn new tips and tricks. I do that on the internet on my own, right? I commit to an hour every morning just searching and doing stuff. It's just part of my discipline. I go there to meet people, make contacts, and deepen connectivity in the industry. And it's a great place to do it.
It is.
And there's an energy that's just palpable. You just feel the energy of the future of our industry. And I struggle to go to sleep in the hotels there at night because I'm just so excited about what the future holds.
Yeah, that's a great point. Like going there just to meet people and make that connections. What are some of the most interesting people that you met this year?
Well, yeah, not scratching your ego, but yeah, I had blast meeting you and Micah, right? Wasn't it Micah?
Yeah,
Really cool
Micah.
name, or Malachi? Malachi or Micah?
Micah.
Micah, yeah, it's a great name, right? And seemed like a wonderful young man. So fun meeting you guys. Look, I just inked some joint ventures with companies that are there. And so we've got it's too soon. We just did the NDA, we got the agreement settled, but a couple, two more billion-dollar companies that we're going to provide the back end insurance and quoting and lead conversion, client fulfillment services for. So that was great. I meet those people there. I got to hang with my new favorite friends at Liberate, Amrish and Tom. I use their AI in one of our divisions for all the inbound quotes. So love that. And just the individual 10 and 15-minute meeting sessions at the tables, I just drink those in. When you go without expecting to get anything and expect to give and just make connections and open doors, because we know a lot of people between us, it's, oh, you need that. I know this guy here. And if your brand's good enough, right? If you haven't tarnished your brand, which it's good in some circles and others it's not, admittedly. But if it's good, you can open doors for people. I really enjoy that. So that's my big takeaways from there.
You mentioned AI because
Yeah.
there was a lot of AI
Yeah.
softwares, AI branding, AI products, whatever that is. Anything stood out to you like that? You're like, okay, I'm bringing this to RightSure when I get back, or I'm gonna go tell my board to invest in this startup. Thank you for all your support to our channel. Here is a quick word from our sponsor. Please click on the link below in the comment section to sign up for a demo with Track AI.
What if your insurance sales conversations could work harder for you? Meet Track, your AI-powered conversation intelligence partner. Track automatically captures and analyzes every customer interaction, providing instant call summaries, risk analysis, and AI-driven coaching insights. Say goodbye to manual note-taking and hello to more selling time. Track handles the admin work while you handle the revenue. fully integrated with your favorite platforms. Plus, get custom AI analysis tailored to your unique business needs. Transform your sales team's performance with Track. Visit track.ai today.
Click the link in the description below to schedule a demo with Track today.
Admittedly, in the private equity arm that I'm on the board, we're an investor in a couple of the firms there, well, two of the firms. And then, like I said, though I'm not an investor or shareholder of Liberate, I use Liberate for our phone, for our intake, for some of our quotes. We're deep in our connectivity there because we use it after hours and during hours for our quote for one of our web properties. And now we're slowly migrating it with some APIs to handle after hours calls. I'll just bore your listeners with it'll sound like this really quick. We've already got it mapped. It's just getting the APIs all finalized. But if you call us after hours, we'll just recognize you and it'll say, oh, thank you for calling RightSure. We recognize you as an existing policyholder. And then they're looking to do pretty much the same things, make a payment, file a claim, get an ID card. It's Pareto's principle, right? The 80-20 rule. And so since we know who you are because you called in with your cell phone, are we speaking with Mr. Shi? Yes. Great. So you need to make a payment. We'll ask you which policy. We will text you your policy number, the link to make the payment on, and the phone number to call them. And if it's a claim, all the same stuff. Or if it's an ID card, we'll just send it to you. And so what we're hoping, that part's not live yet, but what we're hoping is, after hours and weekends, we don't have this attrition of people leaving if they're buying cars at a dealership sometimes, right? Because those dealers make them get insurance right away. We have some attrition there. But after hours, people have the expectation that you should just be open 24/7, right? And that's what a website's for, but sometimes they call. Certain people call, certain generations doesn't call. The iPhone for my kids is not a phone. It's a place to consolidate and aggregate their apps, right? The phone doesn't work, right? So, but some people still call, and those we want to meet them where they want to be met. So we're leveraging AI there. We leverage AI into our calls now to coach our people, to remind them, you've talked for 27 straight minutes, ask an open-ended question, compliment them. It sounds like it's a good dialogue. Maybe they'll give us a positive review. So we're coaching them along the way.
Nice. Sounds like we can have a sidebar conversation on some of those tools, and that could lead to another episode.
I love it.
If you connect with the folks at Liberate, shoot them a note. I'd love to have them come on the show. We have another series called The Founder's Journey, and document, people from pre-C all the way to Series A, B, C. So love to.
I will absolutely. Tom Freeland, Amr Singh, the handful of them there. I will absolutely text them both after this call, as they will. I'll send Michael Gerber an email. We'll text him, but all three of those folks I will absolutely reach out to.
Thanks. Jeff, what are other events you are going to be looking forward to going next year?
I want to hit ITC again. I always love the digital insurance in Amsterdam and Europe, London. So I've gone to those a couple times. I love the DIA over there. It's fantastic. It's something new. I always learn something, even if it's vocabulary or the way they think about the legal contracts. So looking forward to headed over there. I'm speaking at a few state insurance conventions. Looking forward to that, meeting people and trying to pour back into people that want to learn more about our industry. We're starting a thing in our local junior college for people who are trying to figure out what they want in a career. This isn't it's a 2-year college. And we're just going to do a show on fire, a class on fire, finance, insurance, and real estate. And so I'm handling the finance and insurance piece, and then I've got just a rock star handling the real estate. The only gain for us is to transfer this knowledge to the next generation of 18 to 21-year-olds who don't realize how awesome a career in fire can be, right? So finance, insurance, real estate employs millions of people, and it could seem boring or non-sexy or non-fun until you meet people that have a passion for it, and you realize that all your dreams can come true. And what I tell these young people is insurance is boring to you, but to me, it's the industry of all things sexy, exciting, and just plain awesome. And they chuckle. They're like, how can insurance be that? Then you go one step deeper and you say, listen, if you happen to be an introvert and you can't even look at other people when you talk to them because you have to look at your own shoes, right? But you like working with numbers, we need actuaries like every single day. If you love helping people at their most treacherous time, their most difficult time where they need empathy and care the most, claims is a great place for you to be for those people, to be a caretaker or an empath. If you're extroverted and can talk to anybody, behold, you will make a lot of money in our industry, right? Or if you're enamored with just legal contracts and the juxtaposition of words and phrases, we need you in helping us to design product and legal contracts. And so when you pour into this next generation, that kind of excitement, then we recruit more people. So that's what I'm doing right now, is trying to speak anywhere I can for free, right? Giving back to get the next generation of people into our industry.
I got an idea for you. We can go off
I'm in.
camera. We can go off camera.
Fair enough.
Now, yeah, I download with you. So, Jeff, so interesting to have you on this episode. And we go from quick meeting in ITC to, a couple days or a week later to jumping on the podcast. And, now that all the people who bought your books, they get to hear you on our podcast. So that's a pretty cool thing. And if I have you come back a year from now, what are some of the goals you're looking forward to achieve? And what are some of the uncomfortable goals you set out for yourself?
Yeah, I like to live in the uncomfortable space, right? That's the only way you grow. I try not to stay at my desk too long because no creative anything has ever happened behind your desk. So I'll finish 2 more books, right? Lord willing. I'll go deeper into my own meditation or quiet time to figure out what the next part is for me, right? In the pivot, because I just can't sit still. And I want to expand this kind of messaging to recruit the next generation of insurance thought leaders into our industry. There's just something that's on my heart. And again, it's not for economic gain or any benefit. It's just this industry. I'm celebrating 33 years this year. It has provided more for me and my family than I ever envisioned, ever imagined. I always say that I'm the luckiest hillbilly in the world, and I believe that, and it's because of the insurance industry. So I want other people to see it, embrace it, and drink from it like I did.
Awesome. Amazing. Jeff, thank you very much for coming on to our episode. I'm looking forward to the drop, and audience, I'll put in the comment section everything about Jeff. You can reach out to him and follow him. And thank you again.
Jeff, it's an absolute pleasure to be part of your podcast and to be in your presence. I sincerely and truly mean that. I'm glad we met.
Jeff.